Good morning slash afternoon for everybody. Hopefully, you guys are having a fantastic day. Steve Raiken here, Raiken Profit, coming to you guys with another live video. And in today's show, we're going to be talking about 11 blazers and sport coats that sold on eBay for ridiculous profits. Now, the title is a little crazy, and the reason I say that is because I'm going to be sharing with you 11 items that sold on eBay. These aren't my items. I'm literally just studying the sold listings, which I do from time to time to keep my skill set sharp. So I'm saying ridiculous profits, but in order to know how much profit is made, you need to know how much the person paid, which I don't know, obviously. But use your imagination, guys. I know there's some people who watch these videos and are like, you don't know if that's a profit. Listen, we're generalizing a little bit right now. And the reason I am is because these items I'm sharing with you, I've found most of them in the field. And typically you could find these items for $5, $10, sometimes 15, maybe more. It depends where you are in the country. But we're going to be having some fun covering those 11 blazers and sport coats that sold on eBay for ridiculous profits. And hopefully this video will help you to get in tuned with what brands are selling specifically within blazers and sport coats, what styles are doing well, how much they're selling for, in hopes to give you the best chance possible to go out to thrift stores, flea markets, garage sales, wherever it is that your heart desires, and you find them and you recognize them and you flip them to make a profit. So I've been selling on eBay for over 4 years. There was a point in time where it was my full-time gig, had an office space, had the employees, had 1,200 items in inventory. Nowadays, it's a little differently. I don't do as much eBay. I don't do as much clothing. Unfortunately, I've got a couple other businesses that I run, but I enjoy teaching it. I've got a really good, a vast amount of knowledge when it comes to clothing, and I love interacting with you guys. So I want to continue to do these shows because I think I could help people to start making money with clothing. So we're going to get started in about 3 minutes. I want to shout some people out right now. We got Lisa in the house. How you doing, Lisa? Good Use Goods. Good to see you. Lauren, welcome, welcome. Greg, what's up, brother? What's going on, Greg? Just got back from the gym. I'm glad you made this because I have blazers and sport coats sitting in my room and no luck yet. All right, cool. So this is gonna be really good for you, Greg. Thriftology, I love that name with the space between the thrift and ology. Good to see ya, Ronald, Stacy. Good to see ya, Lauren Can, The Honest Truth. What's up? What's up, Denim Labels? So let's dive into it, guys. Quick overview. I'm going to talk real quick about why blazers and sport coats, why I think it's a good thing. But I'm also going to, flip the coin around and talk about some of the downsides of selling blazers and sport coats, because there's not always, blue skies, and, the sun's not always out. Sometimes there's a dark side. Sometimes there's, some cons or some negative things that go along with selling, various items. So we're going to talk about why the good. We're going to talk about the bad. I'm also going to share the 11 blazers and sport coats that I found that were pretty intriguing, and then we're going to open up the floor for a little bit of Q&A. So with that being said, let's rock and roll. Blue Gorilla Flipper, I can't even say that, Flipper. Good to see you. One Bad Goat, what's up? Joel, we got Green Remember in the house. Jason, Air74985, what's going on, everybody? If you are excited for the show to start, give me a little like action, and we will get this show on the road. So Hearts Pickers, we got a veteran in the house. There's not downsides other than they are more long tail. So that's a good point. Let's talk about why blazers and sport coats are good. I'd say first off, because the margins are really, really nice. And what I mean by that is when you sell a blazer or a sport coat, typically you're going to make a nice profit. Not always, but if you're focusing on the right brands and the right items, you're typically going to make a really nice profit. Number two, there's not a ton of competition with them compared to maybe a polo shirt or, a dress shirt or, maybe even a tie. I feel like a lot of people shy away from the blazers and sport coats for various reasons. But there is less competition in a sense. Another reason why I would recommend blazers and sport coats, I already mentioned that there's good profit margins. There's less competition. What's another benefit to it? Darn, I should have wrote it down. It's slipping my mind. But anyways, let me know in the comments, you guys, what do you think some of the good things are that go along with selling blazers and sport coats? I do have a few downsides that I wrote down. Number one, they're typically a little more expensive than traditional items. You know, polo shirts, button fronts, jeans. They're typically a little more expensive, and around here lately, the Goodwills have been going freaking nuts. You know, in my area, I live in Connecticut. The Goodwills have been getting a little wacky with their blazers and sport coats, and I want to go up to them once in a while and ask them, like, "Hey, is this sport coat lined with sterling silver, or is there like, you know, a 14 karat gold attachment to this sport coat? I don't get why it's $80. It's going for 30 on eBay." But I don't say that. There was a time where I would, but not anymore. So there are some, demographics out there, some locations where it's not really viable. Um, they are a little slower selling, like Hearts Picker said. So good to see you, Ronnie, in the comments. Give him a subscribe if you could for me. Um, they are long tail, and what that means is not all of them, but what it means in general is a lot of these blazers and sport coats could sit for 4 months, 6 months, 8 months. Ronnie, I'm sure you've had some sport coats sitting for over a year. I know I have. Maybe you've smartened up and you don't buy those items anymore, but I know I sure did. There was quite a few of them, so they are a little slower selling. And here's another downside that Ronnie, you didn't. Ronnie said there's only one downside. It's long tail. Here's one. One more downside that I think that you guys would agree with, um, if you have experience with these types of items, and it's returns. It's returns. You know, blazers, sport coats, and suits are kind of like the electronics of Amazon. And if you don't know what I mean by that, like the highest returned item that you're going to get, like the category that it's kind of a little sketch at times, is selling electronics on Amazon for various reasons. And it's the same with eBay. You know, in terms of clothing in general, the blazers, the sport coats, the suits are going to get returned the most. Typically the suits for me, maybe not the blazers and sport coats. But there's so many things that could go wrong in terms of a measurement, from the shoulders to the waist to the sleeves. Um, so, include measurements, right? For me, with the blazers, I would typically include the chest measurement, the shoulder measurement, the waist measurement, the sleeve measurement. I think there's a couple more that some people include. I've typically always included those four measurements there. So the more measurements, the better, in my opinion. And if you could, anyway, have an HTML chart or something in the description. I never did, but I saw others, and I bet you it worked well. If you had some type of chart so they could reference it, that would probably be, even more beneficial. But let's get the show on the road. We talked about why blazers and sport coats are good, some of the downsides. So with that being said, let's dive in. Let's rock and roll. Let's make it happen, and we'll answer some Q&A at the end. All right, let me get a drink, take a breath. Let's see. I'm part of the green room. Should I be watching this somewhere else? No, you're at the right place. You are at the right place. So here is a very nice sport coat. Beautiful color, right? 3-button or 2-button? It looks like it's a 2-button. The brand is Canali. Canali is a higher end Italian brand. I'm always bad with like what the designs are called. According to this, it's a houndstooth. Let me know if that's the correct name for this design. I've always been bad at that, but Canali, higher end Italian brand. This brand does well across the board, especially with blazers. Coats, suits. They do. It does really, really well, Canali. I found that, the ones that stand out the most do the best, whether it's like an obscure color, or it's got like really cool lining, or it's got an interesting material, right? Maybe it's got like a cashmere blend to it, or silk, or rayon. Those always tend to do the best for me. But there's so many different factors, right? This is a size 44R right here, 44 regular. And this is, I think it's 100% wool. I'm going to have to look down, but it looks like this sold for $80.71. Looks like it was $94.95. They did a 15% sale, nailed $80.71 plus $9.95 shipping. Let's go through some of these pictures. I like the presentation. The presentation is very nice. And I'm going to be in the comments as well, guys. I do see the comments coming up on the right-hand side of my screen. I've got another screen up, so I'll do the best I can to answer questions. Top rated seller, 550 feedback right here. And I'm kind of just going to be going through it like I was studying by myself, but I'm going to just kind of vocalize what I see. So let's take a look at what they included for measurements. Armpit to armpit, that's the chest. You've got the waist. Typically, I measure the waist at the top button across there. But I've seen other people do it differently. Shoulder seam to shoulder seam to the end of the sleeve. So there's the sleeve measurement, and then shoulder seam to shoulder seam. That's the shoulder measurement right there. And here's another measurement: top of the neckline to the bottom of the jacket. So that's the length right there. I forgot to mention that one before. So great pictures, right? Nice presentation, good keywords in here. You've got the size, you've got the design, you've got the material, you've got the brand, you've got a good keyword in there, blazer. It's a nice item right there. Very, very nice. Let's move on to the next one. Now, here's a brand. I'm not sure if I've ever sold this brand before. I feel like I have. The brand is Done & Company, and the material, and I always have a hard time explaining this, but the coat's made by Harris Tweed, the material right here, as you can see, hand woven Harris Tweed & Company with Done & Company. For some reason, if you ever find like a brand on top of a brand, like for example, if you find like a Brooks Brothers Harris Tweed, which I don't know if that exists, but if you ever find a brand and then you see the Harris Tweed in it, typically that always sold better for me. I don't know why. You will find these sport coats, these tweed sport coats. You'll find them with just the Harris Tweed tag inside. So that always kind of confused me a little bit. I never really understood this, but if you find a brand associated with another brand like Done & Company with Harris and Tweed, it always tended to do really, really well. These do have the leather wooden buttons right here. Done & Company, Great Britain. I love the background too. This seller did a great job with the nice wooden background. And some people say, Steve, you know, you always recommended having the clean white background, which I do. But if you're a professional seller and you want to differentiate yourself from other professional sellers, I think having a nice, unique background like this definitely helps. You know, I don't know how big of a difference it makes, but when somebody's scrolling through, like for example, say you're scrolling through and then boom, you see the wood, like this right here stood out because it had the weird little, you know, drawer background. This one stood out, it's just weird. So you want to catch their eye. And I think that this seller right here, the 240 Z-Man, did a really good job with that. I got $99 for this right here. So, I mean, just imagine you went to Goodwill and paid $10 for this sport coat right here. 3-button, leather buttons, tweed. Imagine you picked it up for 10 bucks. Maybe it cost you $10 to ship. You're up to 20. Fees, you're up to, let's just say another 15, you're up to 35, and let's just throw another $5 in just for random supplies and other fees if there's any, PayPal, blah, blah, blah. 40 bucks you're in it for, picking it up for 10, selling it for 99. I mean, that's a, you know, $59 profit right there, which is like 115% ROI. And that's why I love these types of items right here, because there's money to be made. You know, you're going to have a hard time finding items consistently out there in the clothing niche that can make you 40 bucks, 50 bucks, $60 profit if you don't move into the sport coat, blazer, and the suit niche. So that was a fine example right there. So Heart Picker says Harris Tweed is the material. They just sell fabric to suit marketers or suit markers. I'm not sure what he's saying, but I get the point. Thank you. I appreciate that, Ronnie. How do you ship your sport coats? I'll answer that question right now from JME Miller. It's going to depend. I'm not going to lie to you. There's been times where I've stuffed a sport coat into a padded flat rate mailer. Oh, God, the presentation was horrible. I don't recommend doing that. I mean, let me know what you guys think. Have you ever stuffed a big piece of clothing into that and it's just like, you do it because it's $6 like anywhere in the country, but you know when they open it, they're going to be like, what in the freaking world did this seller do? That's an option. I don't think I'd recommend it. I've never had bad feedback from doing that, but you know it doesn't makers. It probably wouldn't make them happy. So that's an option right there. Obviously, there's the priority boxes. There's the medium flat rate, which is going to run you a bit of money with the medium flat rate. So if that option's out, you could obviously do just a priority box based on weight and location, which might be a good option for you depending on where you're shipping it. Obviously, if you're in Connecticut, shipping it to the West Coast, that's not going to be a viable option. But look into that. There's a bunch of different options. There's the zone or the regional A boxes, which do well to states nearby, and then you have the regional B boxes, which are a little bigger. That can be a really good price if it's kind of like going to like mid country or it's not super far. But those are pretty much my options right there. Especially with Amazon Prime and everybody wants their stuff fast now. I try to stay away from the parcel. I try to stay away from the FedEx Smart Post. Um, but make sure you're printing your labels online, get a scale, ship from home, because then you can experiment with the different shipping methods. And even before that, let me preface that by saying, make sure you go over to USPS.com and order a bunch of free supplies. So get the mailers, the padded flat rate mailers, get the zone A or the regional B boxes, get yourself some flat rates, get yourself some priority boxes that ship based upon weight, and you'll be good to go. Just experiment with that. Hey, picking for profit, man. Hello from the road. Hotel room, actually. Awesome, man. Picking for profit, man. Subscribe to him. He's on a road trip right now, flipping across the country. I believe he's going to where's he going? Santa Fe or New Mexico, somewhere out there. So um a lot of times I find suit with pants, denim label says. A lot of times I find suits with pants. Well, a suit has to have pants. Are you better off just selling the sport coats without the pants? I've always, if you can find the suit, like a suit to me is when you have the top and the bottom. That's what makes a suit. Um, if it comes with it, yes, go with the suit all day. You're going to typically get a better price. And Heart Pickers is saying denim labels. It's very hard to sell suit jackets without the pants. They will sell. They will sit most of the time forever. Yeah, that's true. All right. Next up is a sport coat. This, I don't know what material it is, but I'm going to guess it's camel hair, but I might be wrong. This could be wool. Just based on looking at it, it has that camel hair design to it. And you might be thinking, how does it have a design that's a material? When you get in the game for long enough, you'll typically be able to notice what camel hair items look like, but this might be wool. I'm just going to say that right now. Brooks Brothers plaid heavy Harris tweed sport coat. So right when I see Harris tweed, I'm not thinking camel hair anymore. Now I'm thinking wool. So now I'm guessing that it's wool. Let's take a look. Yep, 100% wool, plaids and checks, size 41 regular right here. And I don't know what I think about this main picture because it's just the top, like it's the upper chest shoulder area. I wish I could have seen a full frontal, view of this item. I think it would have been a little more attractive. Here's a full frontal picture of the item, and if I was talking to this person right now, one tip I would give them is to get some better lighting. I don't think that they have their light set up properly, or possibly even their camera. Maybe they have to adjust some of the settings, but it's a little dark right now. Is that going to make a big difference? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But still, $103.99 right here. Brooks Brothers is the brand. Let me see if I could find the tag for you. Here we go. So Brooks Brothers has a lot of various tags. I'm not a Brooks Brothers expert. I know Ronnie Hart is in the comments right now, and he knows which which ones do best. There's like the Makers, the Golden Fleece. There's different versions to it. I don't remember off the top which one's like the high end one and which one's like the low end one. But yeah, that's it. Brooks Brothers. There's the size right there, 41 regular. I've always had a hard time selling like 41s, right? Like I've done well with like 42s, 44s, 46s, 48s, even 38s, but always the odd numbers, because sometimes like Brooks Brothers will have like a 41 regular or a 43 regular. I've always had a hard time selling them. I don't know why. Let's see, what else can we take a look at here? Did Raiken just say he wished he could have seen it full frontal? Mother's mustache, when it comes to selling clothes, I want to see the full frontal all day long. Oh, you guys are crazy. All right, let's move on to the next one. Here's a really, really good brand right here. Here's an underrated brand by some new sellers. Peter Millar. I don't know where this brand comes from. Is Peter Millar? Is it French? I don't know. I don't think so. Somebody help me out, please. Here is a 2-button sport coat. Appears to be navy blue. 40 feet, 44T. If you're wondering what that stands for, that's tall. 44 tall. 2-button, 100% wool. I'm assuming this one sold at auction for $66. The brand is Peter Millar. Let me see if I could find a tag. So here you go. This brand does well, but at the same time, dependent upon the item, sometimes there's a lot of them. So like I know there's a lot of polo shirts and whatnot, but they for me they've always done really well. But then there's times where like certain ones don't do well. It's hard to explain. There's so many factors. There's sizes, there's colors. One thing I've noticed on Peter Millar items, the polo shirts, is there's always like a logo on it from like a company, which you got to look out for. I haven't found a ton of sport coats. I haven't found a ton of suits in the Peter Millar brand, but it's one of those brands that, like I said, there's stuff that sells really well, there's stuff that doesn't sell as well. But like when I think of this brand, I think of a higher end brand. Let me put it that way. When I think of the brand Peter Millar, I think of something that does well. I think of it as a higher end brand, not like super super high. It's not like a Ermini Zegna, Yegna. It's not like a Canali. It's not like a Gucci. It's not like even like a Vineyard Vines. I see Vineyard Vines and like brands like that higher than this on the hierarchy scale, but it does well. And if I was to do a little exploring, I'm sure we would see some interesting things going on. Let's go Peter Millar Sport Coat and let's see what we find here under the sold listings. Let's see what some other ones are selling for. So 66, 40, 96, 59, 119, that's new with tags. 32, that's a sport coat with an interesting design at 9 bids plus shipping, I'm assuming. 114, 72, 98. So as you can see, I mean, in general, this one's doing really well. Now, if I was to go over to a Peter Millar, like a polo shirt, you might see a different story where some are low, some are high. Like this, $12.95. Like, why is that so low? And then you see this for $34.95. Like, what's the difference? You see, $9.99, $29.99. I told you guys, this is a weird brand. It's a weird, weird brand. It's all over the place. But anyways, next on deck is an item that's quite abundant in thrift stores, right? Thrift stores are a great place to find blazers, sport coats, and suits. Great place. And one of the most abundant items that are considered somewhat higher end in my book are these Ralph Lauren Polo University gold button blazers. This is definitely a blazer. I mean, it's got that navy blue color. You've got the gold buttons. Um, it's a beautiful item right there. You will find this in suits as well. You'll find the pants. If you find the pants, there you go. You got a suit, especially with the gold buttons. They do really, really well. Throw that up on eBay for 100 plus. You'll typically get it. But this apparently is only the top. So we've got ourselves a 42 regular 100% wool navy blue blazer. This is definitely a blazer, and I love the gold buttons, guys. We can do a whole show one of these days on gold button blazers. But here you go. You've got the Ralph Lauren Polo. I thought it was the university. Maybe it's not the university one. Or is it? Let's see. Because they do have a Ralph Lauren Polo university. So this one's actually a little like in terms of the tag, sometimes you'll see the Ralph Lauren Polo like this, and then you'll see the Ralph Lauren Polo University. This one with gold buttons, in my opinion, would be more valuable than the university style, but I could be wrong. But yeah, anything with a high, like any high end or decent brand, even like Brooks Brothers, decent brands. I don't know if Brooks Brothers has gold buttons, but anyways, like Ralph Lauren Polo, if you find something with gold buttons, they typically do pretty well. Let's confirm that. Ralph Lauren Polo gold button blazer. Let's see what others have sold for. I might be wrong. I have a feeling this is going to be one of these items where there's the low and then there's the high. Like here, 99 cents. Like I don't get it. Why is this 99 cents plus $10 shipping? Oh, there you go. Missing buttons. So there you go. That's the reason. That's a good segue into should you sell blazers and sport coats if there's flaws? I'd say no. I mean, you could sell them with flaws, but it's typically not going to be worth your time if you're any type of, I'd say, intermediate to higher end, high volume seller. If you're brand new, you could get away with selling some of these higher end items with flaws, but they don't typically do that well, and they'll sit. They already sit for a while to begin with. So with flaws, um, longer. Someone says Polo University doesn't do that well. Let's take a look. Ralph Lauren Polo University. I've sold them before. Gold button. So here's one that sold for $37.49, 44, 28, 37, 37, 39, 40, 59.99. That's a cool picture right there. I love the plaid shirt. These things are selling though. Like, let's take a look at the suits. I bet you they're going for 100 plus. Let's see. It doesn't even look like there are any suits available right now. You know what do well as well? The double-breasted ones with the gold buttons. They do pretty well. You can't compare the auctions to the buy it now. The auctions will typically sell a little less and quicker, and then the buy it nows will typically sit longer and will sell for higher. So you're going to have to assess your business model right there. But yeah, just want to share that item with you. Let me check the comments. Flip my lid. What's going on? Put a blazer in auction once and only once. Next item up is a unique colored Burberry London tweed sport coat. Really nice item right here. When you see the tweed and you see the plaids and the checks, it's typically always a sport coat. The blazers, for me, when I think of a blazer, I think of like a solid color, whether it's black, navy blue, typically with gold buttons, but not always necessarily. So if you're wondering like what's the difference between a blazer and a sport coat, typically it's the appearance, but there's a bunch of other factors as well, which I don't remember off the top. But here we go. Burberry London, great brand, right? So I'm going to give you guys some things that I'm thinking about when I see this that make me realize, like if I was in a thrift store, I'd be like, okay, this is money. Good brand, check. Color's unique, check. Also want to mention unique color paired with a high-end brand, another check. That's another benefit right there. Material, tweed with a Burberry London, that's rare. That's hard to come across. I've been picking clothes for a while. That's not easy to come across. A tweed Burberry London. It looks like a green olive or something, but it might be just the picture. It's unique. This is a unique item right here. And these are the types of items that I get excited about, because when I'm at a thrift store and I see something like this, I know there's not going to be a ton of them on eBay. And I haven't pre-rehearsed this. I don't know how many are on eBay. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty goddamn sure that there's not going to be a lot of these on eBay. When you have an item like this, a higher end brand, that's unique, that's different, you can ask pretty much what you want to a reason, right? So this sold for $111.73. One bid. So I don't know if this was started off at auction. I'm assuming if there was a bid. It looks like it's fully lined. I don't know if this comes with the tie as well, because I do see the Burberry tie. So I'm interested to know if they threw in the tie. But very cool item right here. Still mint clothing, 1,815 feedback. I'm liking what this guy is up to, or gal. 43 regular, so it's a little weird of a size. I've always found 43 is weird, but it's sold. This size 43 long sport coat is in excellent condition. I hope the pictures show how nice this coat is. As a bonus, a Burberry London blue and gray tie will be included. Buy this Burberry tweed jacket with confidence at RaikenProfit.com. I'm just kidding. Cool. So he threw in the tie. I like that. Next up is another high-end brand. This is a high-end Italian brand that goes by the name of Brioni, Brioni. Love this brand right here. Super high-end. I don't know if I've ever seen a Brioni store in real life. It's out of my pay grade. This person put in the title $3,995 retail. I don't know if that's true, but I wouldn't doubt it. I know these Brioni items. You know, this is a sport coat right here, I believe, right? It's not a suit, is it? I think it's just a sport coat. I know these things are really, really expensive in the store. And Krillin876 says, I just sold a Brioni jacket last night. How much did you sell it for? Where can we get a mannequin looks like having one model helps sell? Go to my website, rakenprofit.com/. I'm not sure. Just go to my site, go to the bottom, and I have a resources section that you can check out. Let me see where that is so you guys can get this. So you can get a mannequin for yourself. Let's see. Well, anyways, I'll look that up in a second. $285 for this item right here. $285 for this item right here. Okay, so go to rakenprofit.com/tools, and I have some different things that I recommend for selling clothing, including industrial grade clothing rack, which is key if you have a lot of items, or a dress form mannequin. Check that out, or just go look on eBay or Amazon. Next up is another Ralph Lauren polo item. This appears to be kind of like a corduroy fabric. Looks like it comes with the leather buttons. So if you find Ralph Lauren polo corduroy style sport coats with the leather buttons, they tend to do really well. I don't think I've ever listed one of these that hasn't sold. The prices can vary anywhere between $40 to $100 plus, just depending upon the season, how well you do with your pictures, running sales, different things like that. But this one, ooh, this is nice. This one has the leather elbow patches as well. So this one's a bada bing, bada boom. The profits are coming soon. I know that for a fact. Kind of like a greenish olive color, leather elbow patches, that's a check. Leather buttons, that's a check. Corduroy, cool color, that's a check. And now you got the Ralph Lauren polo tag inside. That's a check. Size medium, looking good. 88 buckaroos, $14.10 shipped out to the buyer. And, Amber Lop is the seller, coming in with 6,564 reviews, top rated seller. Nice item right here, very, very nice item. And hopefully you guys are starting to get a feel for the different types of items that are selling. Some of the things that I'm mentioning often is the color, the brand, the material, right? The style. So, keep an eye out for these things. It's not just black and white, cut and dry, just go for this brand, because there's plenty of Ralph Lauren polo stuff that doesn't sell for squat. And then there's plenty of Ralph Lauren polo stuff that sells extremely well. But this is why you've got to spend the time of the sold listing. Study these items. Study. Get them ingrained in your brain. So when you go out to these thrift stores, garage sales, flea markets, all these cool places to source, you remember, right? And you don't waste time, and you're not sitting on the cell phone for 20 minutes trying to figure out what to buy, what to pass, how much to spend. So, this stuff right here, this is like college, right? We're in college right now, guys. We're learning, and this is what it's all about. You can do this on your own time too. That's the beautiful thing. Next up on deck is a brand with the double X, Oxford Clothes. Another, I believe this is an Italian brand. It's got to be. Maybe I'm wrong. Oxford Clothes. I could probably actually be dead wrong. I have no clue. Oxford Clothes, pure cashmere. Anyone watch Seinfeld? I love that episode where George buys that woman. Well, he goes to the clearance rack at some store, and there's a cashmere sweater, and it's got a red ink dot on it or something for some reason. And typically cashmere in the store is like so expensive. It was like $1,000 or something in the store, and he got it like on sale, like 98% off. George Costanza. And he buys it for this girl he's dating, and she's like, "Ooh, cashmere!" And she like loves it. She's trying it on, and then she's like, "Wait, why is there a red dot on it?" And she's like, Georgie, what did she used to call him? Georgie Poo? Why did you buy me this with a red dot? Did you get it from the clearance? Long story short, cashmere is expensive. Cashmere sells extremely well on eBay. And you could even take ripped up and torn up cashmere items and lot them together. And I believe like the arts and crafts people will buy them. So that's a cool little tip right there. But double X Oxford Clothes. Oxford Clothes is the brand. It's not like clothes, like Oxford has clothes. No, Oxford Clothes is the brand. Does well. Sometimes can be a bit of a long tail seller. But this is a brand that if you find it, you want to pick it up. Eddie Willis says, how should I store blazers package? Okay, how should I store blazers? Package them up or hang them? Eddie, what's going on, Eddie? It's going to depend upon your system. For me personally, I've always hung my items up. You know, if you go over to rakenprofit.com/, tools, I recommend an industrial, like it's like a heavy duty industrial clothing rack. And I used to always hang my clothes on that because I could store like up to 300 on there, and it kept them nice and wrinkle free and whatnot. Um, but then there's others who prefer to polybag it and throw it in a box and have it ready to go. It's up to you. I think it'll stay in better shape being hung up. But again, that's up to you. So let's see. 111 people watching live right now. Are you guys enjoying this show so far? If you are, you know what to do. Smash that like button down below. Let me know that I'm doing a good job. I definitely appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys. I have a lot of fun doing these shows, and I enjoy interacting. I enjoy learning with you guys, and it's just awesome. I'm very grateful to have you guys as my subscribers and to be following and to be able to help you guys out because you guys help me out as well. So thank you. I just want to say thank you. We did hit 50,000 subscribers the other day, so it's pretty crazy. I still remember making my first video 4 years ago and almost crap my pants. I was so nervous. Sorry for that, but don't think of the image. And now here I am with over 1,000 videos, 50,000 subs. So just want to say thank you. Kind of off topic, do you ever keep any of the clothes you buy? I've come across really nice pieces. Have I ever kept any clothes? Tyler, my whole freaking closet is full of thrift store clothes. New to thrifting, appreciate all these videos. Frank Mendez, what's going on, Frankie boy? Good to see you, man. Yeah, you're welcome. I know it's tough when you're new, so I make a lot of these videos for the people just like you, Frank, the new folks. I don't typically make the videos, and don't take this the wrong way, for like the intermediates and the advanced people, because they know what they're doing. But I know how hard it was when I was new, and I wished 4 years ago that I had a tool like this, right? YouTube Live and people making haul videos. This didn't exist 4 years ago. I don't know if you guys realize this, but this whole reselling community, like when I first got started, there was a little community, right? But like nowadays, it's just like mind blowing. Carlos says, I found a suit that says Armani on the front of the suit, but has no other information. Yeah, you've got yourself an Armani. Sometimes they're weird. Sometimes they only have like a symbol or like a little name here, and like there's no tag. It's an Armani. It's a weird brand. Sometimes they do things differently. That's all I could say. Dustin Doyle, what's going on, Big D? Dustin listing on eBay right now. How's Jersey treating you, man? I know you got a lot of snow. Kind of hard to pay retail when you're a thrifty reseller. I hear you on that. I definitely hear you on that. Let's move on to the next item, guys. Okay, so here's a brand that it's pretty household. It's pretty common. It's affordable by the middle class, but it does really, really well when it comes to sport coats and suits. Like really, really well. And there's different like styles, and there's different like versions of it. I'm not an expert with J. Crew, but I know if I find them, they typically do well. So I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna type in a J. Crew suit. I'm gonna do men's, and you'll see firsthand what I'm talking about. These suits do extremely well. Let's go to sold listings. So take a look at this right here. The Ludlow. That's the one that I wanted to mention to you guys. The J. Crew Ludlow. And I actually have one of these suits that I picked up a couple months ago, and I never got it listed. It's really bad, but I'm going to. I promise you. J. Crew Ludlow suit right here, $265, right? And this isn't just one-off, buy it now, impulse purchase. We've got 42 bids coming up on this right here, and I mean there was a war going on. There was an absolute war. You guys ever watch Spartacus? This is what happened. Spartacus won at $265. See, he was going to war with S double star A, and then T double star N was like, yo, I'm gonna get that. And then sorry guys, I drank too much. What did I have this morning? I had a little hot tea, but I forgot what it's called. Anyways, caffeine level is going through the roof. but it's not as bad as my Uber driver today. Oh my God, this kid was whacked out. But anyways, we'll talk about that another time. We're talking about clothing right now. J. Crew, the Ludlow does really, really well, as you can see. Certain items auction, it's gonna, $13.86. Just ignore that. Don't put sport coats and suits via auction and suits and in Blazer sport coat suits. Don't put them auction unless you're getting these things for dirt cheap. You're a high volume seller. You have the systems in place. Maybe you've got an employee working for you. That's a different story. But if you're a one man show, just don't. Just don't. Raiken sounded like Beavis right now. Wow, that's the sweetest thing I've ever heard. Ludlow is very recent, Krillin is saying. Jillian saying super blurry. You might have to refresh the page. Let's see what else we got here. No one is biting. Oh, I have this for sale in my store and no one is biting. Sometimes you got to run a sale. Sometimes you got to adjust the pictures, the price. There's so many different factors. But that's it. Oh, we have one more item I want to share with you guys. This is a brand. I'm not sure if it's an Italian brand or not. Let me take a look. I'm not sure. Oh, I see New York, Chicago, Tokyo. But anyways, who cares about that? The brand is Paul Stewart. Knowing where the item's made isn't going to make you money, but recognizing the brand will make you money. So let's focus on that. Paul Stewart is the tag. This is a brand that does really well. There are some items within this brand that don't do as well. So you're going to want to spend some time researching this brand. There's so many different styles, colors, sizes, materials that differ based on the value. But this sold for $109.99. And if you guys want to follow a really cool clothing seller, this guy rocks. Closet M. Check this dude out. He usually has videos in his listing. I don't know. I know there's been some changes lately with eBay. I said I don't think they're going to allow videos or something's going to happen. But this seller, if you're new to selling clothing, check this seller out. I believe he does. Consignment because he has like a lot of high end stuff. But cool dude. I mean, I've seen him in videos. I want to get this guy on my I would love to get him on the Raiken Profit channel to talk clothes because this guy like knows his stuff. Like he's on a whole nother level than me, for sure. And he's killing it, and he knows his stuff like really, really, really well. But I'm gonna just go to the sold listing. I want you guys to see what this guy sells. I mean, check this out, Gianni Versace vest. Oh my! Look how rare this thing is. I don't even know these things existed. That is a beauty and the beast. Whew, that is nice. Check that out. God's sakes. Holy mackerel. New it tags the cost. That's a beauty. Orvis, that's another great brand. Looks like this is a tweed. Maybe it's not tweed. Wool, alpaca. Oh yeah, tweed. Blazer, $225. Speaking of blazers, check this little puppy out. This puppy escaped the kennel and ain't coming home. $225. Wow. That's cool. Oh, it's got the leather. You could see the leather patches on the elbow area. You got the leather buttons. I'm curious what type of line. It's probably fully lined inside with silk. That's a beauty. That's definitely a beauty. I mean, this guy is he's a great seller, right? And that was all February 12th. Oh, nope, that was 13th, 12th. I mean, check this guy out, man. He's killing it. But that's about it with the presentation. I'm going to open up the floor for some questions. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask a question. Also, guys, be sure to show some love. Subscribe to this channel. If you're not already a subscriber, subscribe. I was looking at my analytics the other night on YouTube, and most of my views that are coming in are from people who aren't subscribed. So if you like this stuff and you want to learn more, subscribe, right? Give it a chance. Get the videos delivered right to you, and give this game a shot. It works, and this isn't some pyramid scheme. So many people are skeptical, like, oh, like that's a scam, like, oh, he's a scam, or like she's a scam. And I'm not talking about myself. I'm just talking about like in general making money online. Everyone thinks that like making money online is like a scam, and I'm thinking to myself like, hello, it's 2017. This isn't 1996, right? Like, there's so many ways to make money online. It's mind blowing. But there are sketchy people out there and sketchy little money making schemes, and people are freaked out. And I have people coming all the time, like up to me, like, can you make money on eBay? Like, is it real? Like, is it a scam? Like, yes, you can make money on eBay. And I laugh because I've been doing it for years now. And I know a lot of folks who are watching have been doing it for years. But selling on eBay isn't a scam. There's money to be made out there. And, there's a lot of people in the comments now, if you're watching live, who have been making, full-time livings, if not part-time livings off of it. Um, can you go over the different patterns of suits and sport coats? I'm really bad at that. I'm going to be honest with you. So I could attempt to do it, but it wouldn't be very, it wouldn't be very useful to you. Typically what I do, and I'm gonna just be real with you guys, is I try to find, like, when I'm listing my stuff online, I literally, all I do is I find a similar one that has sold, and I sell one like this, right? And then, I try to pick out a few different keywords and whatnot, but I'm not that great when it comes to designs. Okay, so Chicago Crown Hustler already got it. No problem. So I'm in the comments now, guys. If you want to say hello, feel free to drop a line. If you want to share any cool items that you've sold, maybe share your best blazer or sport coat sale in the last, 60 days, feel free to drop a line below. But I'm just going to be hanging out with you guys for a little bit and rocking and rolling. So Tyler S says, I think I'm listing too high. I get views and no bites. Well, Tyler, there's a few things you can do. Number one, you want to make sure that you know, you can list an item competitively, but if there's no market for it or it's not super popular, you're not going to get a ton of views. There's certain brands out there, certain items like, even like Ralph Lauren polo shirts, even though that's a little different because there's a huge market for it. But there's items out there that you can price competitively, but there's only a couple people interested in that specific item. So you might not be getting any views, or maybe you get a few views, but no bites. Also, there's a lot of other factors like, are you shipping slow? Like if you're trying to save a buck with like Parcel or like Smart Post, you might get views, but they're not converting because they're seeing the slow shipping time. So that could be an issue. There could also be something in the listing that's freaking them out. Maybe you're not a top rated seller. Maybe you've got some negative reviews. Maybe, I don't know. There's a bunch of different things that it could be. But no store yet, just starting out with clothes. Try running sales. I know you don't have a store now, but running sales definitely helps. Price competitively, and or you can even price above market, but make sure your pictures are good, like really, really good, and then you could wait for that long tail sale. But hopefully that helped. Miles Junk Removal is asking, would using a live model with your blazers and other articles make your listing look better? It would definitely make your listing stand out. I just don't know if it would be worth it because you're going to have to pay a model. It's going to take more time to have them take it on and off and switch things up. I just don't think it's going to be worth your time. I think just using a nice dress form mannequin would do the job. And again, if you're looking for that mannequin, go over to my website, raikenprofit.com/tools. I've got the mannequin that I've actually been using for years. I recommend the dress form. If you're on a budget, you could go with a hanging mannequin, but that's definitely amateur hour right there. Chicago Crown Hustler says, make sure your pictures, lighting, and measurements are tip-top quality and that your pricing is very competitive compared to other active listings. Good tips right there. Trying to scan clothing, nothing pops up. So I'm assuming that you're trying to scan clothing to sell on Amazon, and it's tough. It's tough to find it. There's a lot of clothing items that still aren't listed on Amazon FBA. But if you can't see the rank, get something like Scoutify if you're using Inventory Lab, and you can see the ranking. Carlos says, I found 200% camel hair sport coats. What's the best way to ship? I mentioned it earlier, shipping sport coats or shipping blazer suits. You can go with the padded flat rate envelopes, which it'll save you some money, but the presentation isn't going to be that great. So, that's up to you. Regional rate A boxes, regional rate B boxes, and or flat rate boxes if you're shipping something super heavy. But I think the regional A Bs or the padded flat rate envelope or the priority box that just ships based on weight would probably be your best option. I would stay away from the parcel. I would stay away from um, the Smart Post by FedEx because it's typically going to take a longer time to sell, take a longer time to ship, and people are put off by that. So the Taekwondo says, Tyler, it could be shipping that is killing you. If I'm buying something, the price will draw me in, but the shipping is what really turns me off. And unfortunately, you can't do much about that. Another thing I forgot to mention too, I'm just thinking from the buyer's perspective. If I was going on to eBay to buy a clothing item, obviously the pictures and the price is going to draw me in first, right? That's going to draw me in. Also, I'm going to look at the description. Like with clothing, I'm actually thinking of another idea. Another thing that could put somebody off is if the pictures are good, the price is good, but there's like no description. Maybe it's very vague. There's no measurements. That would put me off big time if there's no measurements, because why the heck am I going to buy a clothing item only to have to return it, especially a blazer sport coat or a suit? You need the measurements. You need a lot of them. So that could be the issue right there. But the big thing here, and I'm not talking about the shipping time, it might be your return policy. What do you have for a return policy? Are you offering returns? Yes or no? That's what I want to know. And if you are you only doing, I forgot what the duration is, but I know it's 14 days, 30 days. It might be something else, but are you doing 14 or 30? So I'd recommend going for the 30 days, right? Because if they want to return it, they can get the money back anyway. So you might as well just offer the 30-day returns, money back, hassle free, no questions asked. And make sure you offer that. Do you think if a blazer would get wrinkled up being stored in a poly bag, even if it was folded up nice? I mean, Eddie, it's probably going to get a little wrinkled up. Um, but I mean, some of these buyers, I mean, can you really expect to get an item like fully like beautiful off of eBay? Like, I feel like people assume that when you buy it off eBay, you're going to have to dry clean it. Like, at least I would, right? Like, I'm not going to buy a sport coat and just wear it without dry cleaning it and getting it pressed. So I don't know. I mean, that's up to you right there. It's probably going to get a little wrinkly, but I've never had an issue with it. I had a dream last night about Raiken Profit. I'm just kidding. I had a dream last night. I pulled up to my storage unit and the door was open. Is there some hidden meaning here? I went this morning and it was indeed closed. Yeah, if you're having that dream garage flips, it means the clock is ticking, man. Your business is coming to an end. I'm just kidding. I don't know. You're gonna have to ask someone who's more spiritual than me. The link for the green room, the lighting does not work. Can you recommend a place to get better lighting? I'll fix that after that. Sometimes those links die out because people run out of inventory. But just go on Amazon and just type in like lighting kit, right? And there's going to be a ton of them. Just look for the one that has the best reviews with the most stars and just go with that one. Off the top, I don't know the wattage of mine, but I will update that. And if you want to put a post in the green room or something, we'll definitely get to it. I'll make sure we get to it. Elin Peterson, shout out to you, Raiken from Mass. Did you get a lot of snow in Connecticut? Yeah, we got a ton of snow, like a lot. We'd gotten like over a foot and then another 4 or 5 inches. So we got snowed in pretty bad. Blue Gorilla Flipper says, make sure you base prices on the platform you are selling on. That's a good tip right there. Justin Vintori says, I like that name. What's up? Longtime watcher, first time commenter, Florida Panhandle. Justin, thanks for watching, man. Appreciate it. And thanks for the comment, man. I know you're not dealing with snow. Quick listing question. I have 40 items. Is it better to list them in one shot or spread it out in like 2 days? It doesn't really matter that much. I mean, if you've been selling for a while and you have a lot of items, like I found that listing like in small increments definitely does help. Like being consistent, I found helps with like getting items to like rank in the algorithm and whatnot. And I feel like the more consistent I am with my listings, the better they do. But if you're brand new, don't worry about it. Just get your items listed up. Since you are new, you're probably going to hit a wall really quick. And that wall is going to be some type of selling limitation, whether it's an amount of items that you can sell volume wise or a overall price a number that you can only sell up to. Like maybe you can only sell 10 items for, $500. That might be the first limit that you have. Go into your eBay dashboard, find out what your limit is. And if it's too low, deal with it the first month, and then, and or call eBay and see if you can make some magic happen. Sometimes they'll raise your limit for you. Griswold, skillets are the bomb. I have my grandmother. Yeah, those things sell like hotcakes. No pun intended. It is a Loro Piana. So I'm just seeing that as a comment. Loro Piana is I know they're a material maker as well, but it's a high-end brand, super, super high-end right there. Oh, well, real life is calling. Better go and get ready. Who's knocking? Real life. All right, man. I'll see you around. Orlando, what's going on? Big O, just getting in the game. Wanted to say thank you for all your videos. They are a big help. So Orlando's appreciating these videos, and I'm appreciating you. Thanks for coming in. And it's cool. I'm glad to be able to share my knowledge with you guys and help you out however I can. So if you have any questions, just ask away. Need advice on thank you cards? Do you just make your own, or is there a website? You can go to eBay or Amazon and type in eBay thank you cards. I think I got mine off of Amazon. I might have them on my website under tools, but I'm not sure. If not, I'm going to put them on there. But get yourself some thank you. They're not cards. I mean, I guess there are cards, but I use the thank you stickers. I usually stick them on the poly bag of the clothing. And, some people say they're awesome. Others say like they incentivize sellers to leave you bad feedback, which could be the case. So you're going to want to, just assess that yourself and maybe try it out. But yeah, they're cheap. It's like $10 for a roll. Raiken, what do you do when the Blazers do not have what material they are? I mean, what do I do? I could kind of tell already what it is. Like, it's really easy to tell the difference between like camel hair and wool and like cashmere. But some items have a blend. So worst comes to worst, this is my advice. Worst comes to worst, if you're not sure of the size, right, or you're not sure of the material or whatever, even the color. There's like I'm like slightly colorblind. Like I can't tell the difference between certain colors. Like my brain just doesn't register it. I'll just be honest and be like, I can't tell. Like just be real. Like just be real. Like we're selling to real people on eBay. Like these aren't like aliens we're selling to. Like these are real people. They're not like robots. I know you see like these screen names and you're like, oh, I'm selling to JP46832. Like no, like this is a real person in another part of the country, wherever. Like they'll understand. So just be real. Just be like, I'm not 100% sure what material this is, or I'm not sure if this is a green or a pink. I found that just being honest definitely works. Helen Spencer says, thanks for the info. Appreciate it. Thanks, Helen, for watching. Hustle and Gross says, I went to the crack world 2 weeks ago. Ain't gonna lie, thought of you. Could you imagine me walking up and serving you some biscuits? Krillin, buy it, George. Why are you listing the Canali as Laura Piana? Okay, I'm not sure what's going on there. Should you clean your suits first? I don't clean any of my blazers, sport coats, or suits. It's too expensive, too time consuming, and there's not that much money in it. Like it's not like, and let me put it this way: if I was to find like a Briani suit that I know I could sell for $500, but it was dirtier than a mofo. Like, yeah, I'm gonna bring that and I'm gonna get it washed, and I'm gonna spend the $20 or whatever it costs to get it cleaned up. But I'm not gonna bring a Ralph Lauren polo tweed sport coat that may be selling for $65 to the cleaners, just because it's not going to be worth my time. And right, my time and your time might be worth way more. It might be worth less. It's just not going to be worth my time. So just talking from my own experience. For you, it might be. So you're going to have to assess that. Time is money, and you've got to think about that. Do you recommend saying things like it feels like wool or silk? Yeah. I mean, just be real. Just be honest. I mean, everyone always makes it seem like you got to be so professional. Like these are real people. Like they're buying off of eBay. They know you're not a JC Penney. Like they know you're not like, even though they're not like super professional, but like you're not like a brick and mortar store. Like just be real, you know. When you come into Florida again to thrift and sale, I'm actually going to be in Fort Lauderdale for the Sellers Summit May 20 May 20 20th to the 22nd, I think. So I'm gonna probably get there about a week ahead and have some fun, spend some time at the beach, do some thrifting. So that's gonna be fun. That's a conference for um, people selling on Amazon, selling on Shopify, wholesale, different things like that. So that should be a lot of fun. Dude, I am not computer literate. I like that or understand a lot of the lingo. Steve, why haven't you activated your super chat feature? It seems kind of, I don't know, like panhandling in a way. Activated your super chat feature. What does that mean? Um, let's see. I'm just answering some of the questions. So I already mentioned that. What is the difference between a blazer and a sport coat? Just scroll back. Pretty much like for me, like the easiest way to say it is like blazers are typically like a solid color, like a black or a navy blue. And a lot of times they have like gold buttons, where the sport coats will typically be like plaids and checks, tweed, wool, even though the blazers are wool as well. But they just have a different design. Typically they just look, the easiest way is to just know what a blazer is, which is, it's so hard to explain for me. There's a lot of other ways as well to tell the difference between a blazer and a sport coat. And I'm going to just Google it. Like I could tell when I look at it, but it's hard for me to explain. Um, Sport coats have patterns. So like I was saying, the blazers are typically solid in color and the sport coats have patterns, unlike blazers, which are solid and have contrasting buttons. Suit jackets are a whole different story altogether. They are smooth, have tonal buttons, and should never be worn with anything other than matching suit trousers. So um, it's one of the options, but typically the pattern. The pattern's the biggest giveaway right there. All right, let's see what other questions we have. Tyler S says, I wash any clothes I buy. Maybe a beginner thing for 20 cents a wash. Why not? Makes me feel better knowing it's washed. I mean, it's not going to hurt you, but I hate doing laundry and I have a hard time doing my own laundry. So I'm not going to do someone else's. No, but I'm being a jerk right there. But in all seriousness, like it's the time, it's the money. I just don't like doing it, so I don't do it. And I've never had any problems. So why fix it if it's not broken? Carlos says, just get the Blazing Profits course from Raiken. Great info. A little plug right there. Yeah, I do have a course that I created. It's called Blazing Profits. So if you go down into the description underneath my books and products, I've got quite a few clothing products, 101 killer clothing brands. That's the best thing to start with. Then go to 102. And if you're more advanced and you want to get into blazers, sport coats, suits, you want to increase your margins, you want to start messing with some of these items, check it out, gumroad.com. Actually, you're going to just have to go to the link. It's kind of a funky hyperlink. So go down in the description, check that out if you'd like. Do you mail coats and jackets in boxes or poly mailers? Typically boxes, but I'm not going to lie. There's been some times I've smushed a sport coat into a padded flat rate, but it's not the most beautiful presentation you'll ever see in your life. I'm hoping to hit CT soon. Lots of territory to hit. Dustin, bro, you stay out of my territory, man. If I see you in Connecticut, Dustin, I'm blocking you, bro. I promise. I'm just kidding. But I think that's about it, guys. I appreciate you guys all watching. Again, if you like this video, hit the like button. Just hit it. Someone messaged me the other day and said, you got to stop asking for likes so much. But the problem is, if you don't ask people to like the video, they won't like it. Even if it's like an amazing video or it's a good video or a bad video, you've got to ask for what you want. So I'll tell you right now, if you want success in your life, you've got to open up your heart to it. You've got to ask for it at times. So I'm asking for some success right now. I'm asking for you guys to like this video. Put yourself out there. Don't be scared. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? But yeah, you guys rock. Keep making it happen. Go out there to the thrift stores. Look for these items. Maybe you'll find them. If you do find them, please do me a big favor and list them. List them up. And, if you could, put in some good keywords. Measure them. Put in a nice description. always include the item specifics. And if you've got a store, run some sales, get them moving. There's so much abundance out there. There's so many opportunities. There's so much money for the taking. You just got to go out and grab it and make it your own. So with that being said, guys, keep on picking and making that money. Appreciate you guys watching. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks again, and talk later. Bye.